Hey guys, it's Sebastian. Welcome to another segment of Building Your Wealth in Under 5 Minutes. Today we're going to be talking about when is the right time for you to actually quit your job and start your own business. Now, before we go ahead and get started, please don't forget to subscribe, comment, share, hit the like button. Just make sure that you're sharing this out with your friends and family. Again, this is the easiest way that your friends, your family can actually start building more knowledge when it comes to money. The more knowledge we have, the better we can be making our decisions when it comes to our money. Let's get started. The number one mistake that people make when they're quitting their job is that they quit their job too soon and then they decide to start a business. Do not make that mistake.
Oh, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
You first want to be making sure that your business has already started. I see people do this. They're like, oh, I'm going to quit my job and then I'm going to figure out what business I'm going to go start. Don't make that mistake. That is a total recipe for disaster. The reason this is so important is because it takes a lot longer to see success than what you actually think. I literally had a conversation with my barber the other day because he was thinking about starting his own little mobile barber shop where he actually has a van, and he planned on doing this last October, and it's crazy, but he thought that it was only going to take him about 2 to 3 months to have it done. It's been about 8-9 months and the van is still not complete. So why do I bring this up? A lot of business owners, this is what they think. They think they're going to start a business and immediately they're going to start making money. But unfortunately, those of you that have businesses, those of you that have companies, you guys know that the first 3, 6, 9, 12 months, the profit is unfortunately not always there. So when is the right time to quit your job? Is when you begin to start seeing some form of success in your business. But how do you measure success? So the first thing that you want to figure out is what are your survival expenses? So let's say that your survival expenses right now are $3,000 a month just to be able to survive, right? Pay your rent, your mortgage, your bare necessity. Let's just call it that it's $3,000 or maybe $4,000 a month. Then what you want to make sure is that the day you quit your job, the day you stop working there, that your business has already been making enough profit at the end of every single month to at least cover your survival expenses.
Fun coupons!
So I'll give you an example. If your survival expenses are $4,000 a month, then what you want to make sure is that the previous 3 months prior to you quitting your job, that your business was at least making $4,000 a month in profit. Not $4,000 a month in revenue, because if you have a business that's making $4,000 a month in revenue, we know that almost every business has some form of expenses. So what is the monthly profit? So if you know that you have $4,000 a month to survive and those are your expenses, then you want to make sure that in the last 3 months, you have made at least $12,000 in profit before you decide to pull the trigger and quit that job. Now on top of this, not only do you want to make sure that your business is actually showing some form of profit, please don't make the mistake of starting a business without an emergency fund already set aside. Why? As I mentioned right now, like a lot of business owners, they unfortunately the first 3, 6, 9, 12 months, they're not as profitable as they expected. So what might happen is that you might have a bad month or a bad quarter or a bad 3, 4, 5 months. So why is it so important to have an emergency fund? Because what if that business is doing poorly? So you need to make sure that if your business costs you maybe $5,000 a month to operate, right? Whether it's an employee or rent space or whatever it is, make sure that you have at least 3 months saved up, 3 to 6 months of emergencies saved up the day that you actually quit your job. So don't go quit your job and not have any money saved up, because unfortunately, many business owners, the first couple months, they're just getting started. Then they run out of money really quickly and they're like, oh my goodness, my business failed. But many times you just didn't give it enough time. And that emergency fund is what you're going to be using to buy you that time as you begin to figure out all of the good things and all of the bad things and all the good and the bad decisions that you're making in your business. But many times when you're starting a business, at the beginning, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. But you need to have the money to be able to confront those mistakes.
There was no other way.
I know that many of you are also asking about what is the difference between a W-2 and a 1099. So we actually have an entire video that talks about the tax benefits of being a 1099. In other words, a self-contractor or a contractor where you actually work completely independent, not as an employee. And then we have an entire other video that talks about how a W-2 works. So if you want to check out that video, just make sure that you go on our YouTube channel. We have that video that explains the difference between a W-2 employee and a 1099 and what are the pros and cons of each and every one of those two.